Arne Slot is currently the #1 favourite to take over Liverpool in the summer. With an amazing track record and doing wonders in Netherlands for his team Feyenoord, how will he fit in and what can you expect from his tactical setup at Liverpool? Well, let's get into it. Now, the first thing to consider when looking at Slot as a manager is that he is very young and he has been managing for only a few years. But when he was at AZ, he constantly punched above his weight, going toe-to-toe with Ajax for the league title, despite having clearly fewer resources. That coincided with him signing for Feyenoord, which also helped him actually break Ajax's 5-year reign of winning the league title, winning it last year in pretty easy fashion, dominantly, also winning the cup to go alongside it. And one of the main reasons he was brought in was to specifically assemble a new team with distinctive style of play, to develop youth prospects through the team and to try and create a new system, a new identity for Feyenoord in the future. And obviously he did that brilliantly, which coincided with his achievements that he grasped. And that identity includes playing attacking, high aggressive football, which relies on winning the ball high up the pitch and having majority of possession. This season, on average, they're having around 64% possession in the league, which would be the 7th or 8th most in Europe between the top 5 leagues. This system, which is also built on high possession, high pressing and clinical attacking football, could be very suited to Liverpool's team, who often are very clinical side, getting around to their XG and being a very aggressive side trying to win the ball back from obviously Klopp's pressing systems. And this is used by the two formations which he predominantly uses in Netherlands. He used a 4-2-3-1 to win the league, and that is still his favourite formation, using it mostly this season, but he has moved more into a 4-3-3 recently to try and improve the side and adapt. Now, the main first and big similarity between Klopp's style and Slot's style is definitely the pressing. Feyenoord ranks only second to PSV, allowing just 10 passes per defensive action, and they are often very quick at pressing the goalkeepers and defenders of opponents and teams to win the ball back from in the final third of the opponent. And to do this, the fullbacks and the centre backs will also push up, maintaining a high defensive line to minimise space between the lines and actually make the counter pressing system work, because if the spaces are in between too big, then people are allowed to run and make movements, creating space and creating a good chance to get out of the press. They will also usually have one of their wingers, usually the right side, come into the middle and actually work as a little bit of a midfielder, creating a 4 with the double pivot behind them, but also with the attacking midfielder in there. This means when the striker presses, it often gets shifted out to one of the centre backs who is pushed out wide. And with the left winger or the other winger on the other side covering the pass to the fullback, you can have the midfielders in the middle covering the runners from deep and any other player that wants to progress the ball through the midfield for the opposing team. These players, specifically the winger and the fullback pairing, will be able to jump aggressively when opposing teams send the ball out wide. This would leave a backline of 3 with the double pivot screening for the cover ahead of them. This is very important with the team that they play, and everyone in their team needs to be very aggressive at winning the ball back. And when they're trying to win the ball back, a lot of the players for Feyenoord work close and together. Even if the other team want to play a long ball, they will stick together and compress the space for the opposition. This means it is very unlikely that teams will be able to get out and actually make any sort of effect running in behind. The Feyenoord players are very good at cutting off passing lanes, and it allows teams that not be set up to transition to defending to be then at a downfall when Feyenoord come forward with the ball. And this pressing system is clearly working very well in the Eredivisie, as they have recorded a 344 high turnovers for the opposing team, which is the most in that league, ending in 54 shots with 11 goals. So they are scoring from these high presses more than anyone else in that division. And this is shown in this graphic here where the zones of control are happening. Feyenoord are having the most zones of control on their side in the league, other than PSV, who are absolutely been dominant this year. This is something you would see the teams like Arsenal, Manchester City or Liverpool maybe even now have, where they are pretty much not losing the ball in any given opportunity and are having the most possession at all time. But how does he keep this control? Well, he actually plays a very compact system, which we've been seeing more and more with top managers in Europe right now. He has strong passing connections throughout his team and actually inverts his right back to be closer to the right defensive midfielder and centre-back, creating a little triangle there. As you can see by this picture, there's triangles all over the pitch, other than the striker and the attacking forward, who will be pushed up into a more centre-forward role. In the 3, this would be one of the 3 centre midfielders, but if he plays a 4-2-3-1, this would be the attacker midfielder. Now, in this system, he demands very good ball-playing abilities from his goalkeeper and his defenders, and they've got to be very brave on the ball, which I don't think will be an issue at Liverpool. There's many goals that he has scored on the counter-attack against very good sides, where his goalkeepers have passed the ball inwards and outwards to the defenders, and they have worked the ball up into an attacking position. This with disguised runs by their midfielders who don't look very interested, but then will peel off of players when they are getting pressed, create them space in good areas going forward. And he loves having a striker or attackers that will come deep to help the play and have a lot of link-up play wherever. He likes having all of his team be involved in attacking moves, and is also not afraid to do different systems to get the goal going forward. And a little bit of a difference for him between Klopp is that he actually plays a system where they're not necessarily based on transitional based play. They take their time patiently, and if teams go and press them, they will quickly pass out of trouble, but usually they wait for the best opportunities to create these big chances, which isn't necessarily based on direct attacks. Their play is much slower and more intricate, which is shown by the fact they rank 2nd in the league for build-up attacks with 126, but only 9th in terms of ball progression speed. And in order to preserve this and keep their time on the ball, they often set up in a 4-2 when they're attacking with their defenders in midfield, but then they often change it depending on the situation. If a team has more players pressing them, they'll probably have 4 at the back, but sometimes if they don't and teams are laying off them a little bit, they will allow it to move to a 2-4, having their 2 fullbacks join the midfield and be a lot more forward. But their whole team is very much fluid, and they all move around in different rotations to score goals. With that being how Feyenoord play, how will this fit into Liverpool and what players will really benefit from this? Well, straight away you're thinking about the fullback situation. Trent and Robertson will definitely benefit from this ability to be able to move a lot more forward. Specifically, Trent is one of the best players in the world on the ball, and if he can direct play and dictate it from a deep area, coming into midfield and inverting, you've sort of solved 2 problems in one there, about his defensive problems in right back and him not getting the ball enough to create chances. I also have to think this 4-2-3-1 system may benefit someone like Szoboszlai a lot more. I know he is a really good progressor of the ball, but he can definitely benefit from being much more forward and being able to press deeply. Him being next to the striker, I think, will probably benefit him in the long run, so he can play more in this attacking system and get the space, not trying to look for it for other people. And the combination of Curtis Jones's brilliant aggressive off the ball pressing, which will be important to win the ball back of how he wants to in his system, and someone like McAllister being able to have more time on the ball and have a bit more patient build up rather than it just being so quick all the time, will definitely benefit him with his brilliant passing and ability to pick out great chances. While I have to say that people like Alisson and Van Dijk are going to exceptionally excel if they're still there with their brilliant passing, being more involved in the play. And now I don't want to speculate too much on different signings that Liverpool are going to make, because it's obviously very much in the future, but someone I think would be perfect for this team, obviously coming from Feyenoord with Slot himself, is Matt Sweefer, the centre defensive midfielder for Feyenoord. He's been excelling this season, and this guy, when I say is amazing, he really is. He does every single thing you would want from a midfielder. He's doing all the tackles and interceptions in the midfield, having around 3 aerials, 1, 2 blocks and 1.7 interceptions, while almost making 3 tackles. Now, I don't really expect teams to press Liverpool too much, so the tackles necessarily might not be the biggest issue in the world, but the other stats are also exceptional. He's making 7 progressive passes per 90, 1.5 carries per 90, which is still a very good level, 1.2 take-ons, and around 65 passes are being attempted, which is a very high amount for his position. He's getting the ball a lot and passing it around, and he's still creating good amount of chances, 3 shot creation actions per 90 as well, so he's getting forward and helping the team. He'd be an excellent player to break up play with McAllister in the midfield, while also creating great rotations and being very good on the ball as well. I can't see why it'd be a lost situation, and with the manager coming in over who he knows, I think it could work. I also think someone like Cooper Miners from Atalanta would be a great acquisition if you played that 3 in midfield, because he can also do all of them roles. He's like a box-to-box defender and a brilliant attacker as well, scoring goals. Someone that can do all the roles in midfield is brilliant, and he's a great presser as well, which I think would really help the team. Also, with the fact that the defenders play very close to the 2 double pivot midfielders and like also switching it in game, I think Cooper Miners could play there. He's a great defender and has been a centre back before, so he can always switch them positions if someone wanted to go a little bit more forward or you had to facilitate for someone else. And I know Liverpool have had big injury issues with their centre back situation, and I think someone like David Hanko would be a brilliant brilliant signing. This guy has excelled at Feyenoord the last few years, and as a ball-playing defenders come, none really get better than what he would bring. Making around 8 progressive passes per game, 2.5 carries per game, 90 passes, and around a 90% completion rate as well. He is picking the ball up and passing it and running with it, creating chances for the team more often than not, and he's actually a very good attacking outlet for the team. And he isn't making the most tackles in the world, but when you play for Liverpool, you won't need to as well. But no matter what, I think Slot for me is a person that can pick up different players, because I think they will fit his system more than the world-class players you might see someone like Man City side. There's definitely an opportunity for him to develop, because Liverpool will give him time, and I promise that he will probably take that time in very good fashion. He will adapt and make this team better and better, but will always have his aggressive playing style ideas, which I think from a fan perspective is definitely what you want to see, and I think Liverpool fans will be definitely used to it with Klopp obviously leaving. And despite it look like it's guaranteed to happen right now, it hasn't been confirmed, and obviously we all know he wasn't Liverpool's #1 target, but I think Liverpool fans will do a lot worse to go for anyone other than him. And although the Eredivisie is a big jump to the Premier League, especially at a team like Liverpool, one of the biggest in the world, I'm confident that he will be able to buy the players that will fit his system, and that Liverpool's core team that they have right now is able to play his tactical setup, which I think is probably the most important thing, so they don't have to invest in too much. Thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know if you want me to do any more videos on players or managers that you want to see in the tactical systems of other teams, and let me know what you think of this video down below. I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.